So, guys, Selena Williams wants to talk about the music industry and give us a kind of heads up on what's been going on. Which some of us been talking about this here and how these industries, they just don't do the artists right.
Kanye did try to come get me off of Jive Records, but the depth of Jive Records was so high, it was ridiculous. I remember having a conversation with him, and I didn't know any better to be like, well, just produce the whole album, because that's essentially the same thing. But I thought because, at that time, if you had a $2 million debt or $4 million debt, I thought in my mind that that's what you would have to pay to get me off of the label.
Oh, okay.
So I told him, the label, I owe them $4 million and this, that, and the third. So I wish I could have gone back to that moment, because had I known better, I may have been able to say, well, just do the whole album. That's the same thing. The label would have been down for that.
I'm sure they would.
They would have been.
How did you end up $4 million in debt?
Well,
You know how labels do.
You know how they do you. I ordered this water.
That's
$35.
Oh,
Car service, $5,000.
You don't know how much your marketing is, your
man,
promotions.
listen, at that time, they were giving out, that was the time where your videos was $400,000. That was the time where you were paying back 85-90% of your marketing budget. You were recouping. That was the time where if you came to stay, I stayed in a hotel maybe like 2 months recording the album.
And you didn't even think about
all of
it.
that. Yeah, you don't know. You in your 20s. You thinking you're living your best life. You don't know anything about that. My recording budget was like $1 million.
You buy some clothes. They're like, here, we got to get you something to wear for
That's
the tour.
Oh, styling for the video. Oh, you get to keep this and
Everybody
keep that
hooking
look.
everybody up.
Yep.
No. My friend is going to get you some clothes, and then you got to pay a stylist fee. You got to pay for the clothes.
And then A&R, they were slick too. What they would do is, such and such need to fly in on your budget. Basically, they wouldn't say your budget, but they'd be like, such and such, we need to fly them in.
Right.
This producer and that producer, we're going to fly them in to just go to the recording
We
studio.
got to get some live musicians to come in and
We
play
got to get the live musician down to a song that's already done.
Next thing you know,
Lord
you're
have
paying
mercy.
for that.
So that's what labels do. You know what I'm saying? And then they back you in the hole, and then they write it off.
But
Because that's what they do to the black artists. They put all the money into the white artists, and then the black artists, they write them off.
So that whole artist being a tax write-off thing is real.
No, that's real talk.
Yeah.
That's what Jive Records used to do.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of these labels, but definitely Jive Records. I was on there in the time where it was the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC.
Oh, man.
All of them.
Yeah, even Britney Spears and all of them
Britney
was on
Spears,
Jive.
all
Yeah.
of them. So at the end of the day, we was a good old time write-off.
And now you have.
Angela Yee, why don't you let her do the interview? Don't you hate when people do interviews with folks and they do all the talking? Damn, let the people talk. They might slip up and say what we want to hear, instead of that scripted shit. Anyway, guys, it's your girl, SkkyZone, and I'm out. Peace.